All right, we are going live. Streaming a lot lately. It's what the kids do. So I'm doing it. I actually used to stream before YouTube was even a thing. There was a site called Ustream and then a site called Justin TV, which became Twitch. And I'm old. I'm trying to think if there was anything before Ustream. But I used to podcast about computer repair and I would stream my shows. It was fun. And now that I'm streaming again, this reminds me of that. And I like to stream. I'm a streamer. All right, so I'm going to pull up Studio One. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on using loops in Studio One. So let's do it. Oops, opened the wrong thing. Let's open Studio One. All right. Let's switch over to screen view here. Whoops. Screen view. Not that. Nah, that's what I'm talking about. And we're going to be using loops. I'm wondering if I could put my... no, I can't shift where my little picture is. That's all right. All right, so we're going to be using loops here in Studio One and exploring this whole loops section, which can really help you come up with ideas or flesh out a complete song just with loops. I'm using Studio One Sphere, Persona Sphere, and it comes with Studio One Professional and tons of loop packs. So if I click on loops here, I have a lot of content. And we're going to go into that. If you want to see what you can, if you want to see what you have installed or can install, go to Studio One and Studio One Installation. And then you will see here what's available for you. I actually recommend downloading everything. Download everything that they're presenting to you if it's included in your package. This way you have tons of content you could use. The things you get in here aren't just loops. It could be instruments and other things, but we're just going to be dealing with loops. And a lot of this stuff is loops. Like for example, this After Midnight, 443 megabytes of royalty-free soulful acoustic piano loops, suitable for hip-hop, R&B, pop, and anything that needs a dash of soul. So there's really cool content here that you can use to create some cool stuff. So... I'm really tempted. I wonder how long this would take to install. Let me just install this one. Okay, go. It's going fast. Cool. So we'll actually see if we can do some After Midnight loops. That's installing right now. Boom. All right, so now if I come into my loops here, under Personas, well, we're going to get into that. But under Files here, I should have After Midnight now. Yeah, there's After Midnight. All right, so there's two sections up here. There's Loops and Files. Files is literally just everything you have on your hard drive in certain folders. It's just like a file browser, like Windows, File Explorer, or Mac Finder. And you could just dig into folders and then dig into what's in the folders and grab some stuff. Loops. But this section here allows you to catalog and categorize your loops in a way that makes it very easy to find. For example, you can sort in a way that makes finding loops easy to find. If you look at sort by here, you can see there's 3 boxes up here. You could change all these 3 boxes. Like, let's just say we sorted first by style. This whole list now is going to change to folders that are categorized by style. So if we want to go into funk, we can see stuff in here that's funk. Now, when you open up a folder, it starts to look for the second box here. So you could change this to instrument. So now if we open folk or funk, it's now the second level down is sorting by instrument. So the first, I guess you could say hierarchy, or I don't know how you want to exactly word it. But the first level of search is by style. And then when you open up a folder, it's by instrument. And then let's say by character. So we go to funk, and now we're sorting by instrument, and we go to drums, and now there's going to be folders that are a different character. Folk is the style. The next folders are instrument, and then the next folder is going to be sorted by character. So using this loop section is actually a very cool way and an easy way to find what you want in your library of sounds. And like I said, the more loops you buy, or if you buy Persona Sphere, you get tons of content, and it will all go into that loops folder. I don't know if you go and buy loops third party somewhere. I don't know if you do that, if you buy loops third party, if you're going to actually get all the stuff that, I don't know if it's going to go into those folders like the Persona stuff. A lot of times in my tutorials, I just used Persona stuff so everybody can follow along with me, but you don't have to actually just use that. All right, so now that we have these sorted, I guess, the way we want, let's make a song with them. Let's go into folk. Let's go into drums. And let's go into acoustic. And if you double click on any of these files now, it'll start to play them in a preview here. Okay, there's a mix of all the drums together. So let's drag that into our timeline. And you'll see now it fits perfectly in the timeline, and it's because it's an audio loop, it will adjust itself to the speed, the tempo of your project. See, this is folk. It was actually recorded at 85 beats per minute, but our project is set for 120 beats per minute. So it's going to sound probably not like it was originally recorded. If you want to hear these loops as at the original tempo they were recorded, you have to turn off this little triangle down here and preview them. It's going to be much slower now. If you turn this on, it's going to play the loop at the speed of your project, which is 120. Watch, it's going to speed it up much faster. So since we know this was recorded at 85 beats per minute, let's change the tempo of our project to 85 just to be consistent. Cool. And now that we have our drums in there, let's scroll up to bass. And let's look under, I don't know, electric or loop. All right, well, this is Sweet Tea drums. So if we put Sweet Tea bass, it might be pretty cool. If you want to hear the loop playing while your project is playing, you could do that too. Here, watch me double click now. let's hear it at the project tempo. And let's do this now. There we go. How about this one? How about this one? All right, let's take that first one and just drag it into the project. Here is it. They both sound now. And let's go into folk and guitar. Let's go into loop and see if there's a sweet tea guitar that might fit. That's cool. Let's drag that in. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Strings. So let's go strings loop. We got sweet tea fiddle. Let's drag that in and see what that sounds like. See, you basically can write music without even being a musician, just, stitching loops together. Now, these loops, you notice, like, a lot of them under the folk folder are called sweet tea. Well, where'd that come from? Like, what is sweet tea? You have to understand that these vendors put together these packages of loops in what's called a construction kit. Like, if I go into files, for example, no. Where's the best way I can show this? Okay, if we go to folk, and then we can change this from instrument to vendor, right? Okay, here's now folk personas, and let's see if we change this last one to, how can we make it so? Just make it nothing. There. So it's nothing. So it's folk personas, and now we have all these sweet tea things. This is called a construction kit. You could pretty much take anything that's sweet tea and mix it with each other, any other thing that's sweet tea, and it should sound pretty good. Then there's another construction kit, which is Black Road. And you got drums for Black Road, you got bass and guitar for Black Road, and mandolin. And that's going to sound different. Like, I'll just take the full drum mix of Black Road. So let's see if there's a full drum mix. No, there's all separate. Oh, yeah, here it is. Black Road Drum Mix 1. Let's just put that there. And then let's take Black Road guitar. And let's take a Black Road bass. And a Black Road dobro. And a Black Road mandolin. I didn't listen to any of those, but I'm willing to bet you right now that they are going to sound good together as I play them. Check it out. See? In a construction kit, you can mix and match loops, and the vendor purposely put them all in there so they can be used together and combined together. So it's a really easy way, using the loops tab here and playing with loops, to make music. All right, let's get rid of all those. Let's try something else now. Let's go into EDM for the style. And the vendor, let's say is Sample Magic. All right, and this is not a construction kit. These are just 4 different loops that are in there. Sometimes loops will have all the instruments built in. It just depends on what loop you pick. So this has tons of instruments already put in. So let me get rid of all these tracks. And I'm just going to drag this loop into here. Now this loop is at 125 beats per minute. So let's bump it up, our project, to 125. And let's hear how this sounds. Wow, this one has a bunch of stuff in there. Check it out. think it has tons of instruments in there too. No, it's all impact. Okay. Well, then we're getting into something a little more complicated. See, this is called a music loop. This is specific to Studio One. A music loop can have all kinds of instruments just jammed in there automatically. And they can have effects on all the tracks. It's basically like a complete phrase of a song that's already mixed for you. Can I zoom in on this? If I make that 64, that should be interesting. Let's try that. Wild. All right, maybe we'll cover audio loops or music loops later. What else we got? Presonus. You know, I probably wouldn't use the loops tab here if we're looking for actual full construction kits. I'd probably just go into files and look under our sound sets. These aren't sorted by category or anything like that. They're sorted by actually like by vendor and the actual download. Like if I took Dirty Electro House, all right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders in here. These are all little construction kits. Watch, if I open WoW, this whole mix, if I just drag it in, it's going to sound decent. And there's all the instruments on separate tracks that you can manipulate separately. I could just solo the drums or the bass and put the kick on, which is cool because now I can make like an intro and different things. Take things out, add things. Watch. Just go random and see what happens. All right, I'm bored of this. Let me just play something else. Let's see what kind of cool loops we have, because I actually like to take loops. I think it's kind of cheating to just take loops and just make your get like a loop construction kit, like this Dirty House kit, and then literally just drag all of these onto a track and use every instrument. I like mixing and matching them in fun ways. So let's do that. Let's go to new. All right, let's use Dirty House, right? But it's not going to be a Dirty House track. I'm just going to take this electro saw bass. And what do we got here? So I just want to take this third hit, just this one here. Get rid of the rest of the entire loop so we just have this sound. Because I think it's a cool sounding loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Instruments and Presonus and Sample 1, which is the sampler inside Presonus. I'm going to just drag that little clip onto there. Now I can play this on the range of my whole keyboard. So what I want to actually make it is follow song tempo this way. If I don't put follow song tempo on, it's going to get shorter. The note's going to get shorter as I play it higher on the keyboard. Like I'll play it normal. That's normal. Now if I play it higher on the keyboard, let me turn this on so you can see a little better. If I play it higher on the keyboard, it's really quick. And if I play it lower on the keyboard, it's really long. And I'm not going to lie, that actually sounds pretty cool. But let me just hit follow song tempo, and then you'll hear the difference. Now, when follow song tempo is on, it's the same timing no matter where I play on the keyboard. And I think that's a badass sound. So let's add some effects to it and make it more badass-er. So let's go to sample 1 and just use the reverb and delay in sample 1. Let's hear how this sounds. So I think it's pretty cool that we just took this up here, that one sound, and now we turned it into an instrument by just dragging it into sample 1. So let's bring in some drums and have some fun. So let's go back into files, and let's go to WoW. And let's see if there's a cool drum kick. Yeah, let's just bring in a kick. And let's bring our tempo up to 128 and loop that. Let's get rid of this top one now. We don't need it anymore because we already pulled it into sample 1. And now we got a kick. All right, let's try something. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. That almost was good. All right, so we have this like little arpeggiated pattern here. We could just duplicate this now. 4 times. Sounds pretty cool, right? And let's duplicate that, and let's bring it down to an F now. And the only one we got to change is that one, which is G. We want to make it to A. That should make it proper. Let's hear that now. Yeah. All right, here we go. And let's do something fun now. Let's take the kick drum and make it so every time the kick drum hits, it lowers the volume of this top line here to get that pumping sound. And you do that with a compressor. So I'm just going to go into inserts here. I'm going to go to hit a compressor. I'm going to click sidechain up here, which is the technique used to do what basically I'm talking about. And if I hit send, now watch what happens. Every time that kick drum hits, it lowers the volume of that bass track up top. And you're going to get this pump. Cool. So now that we have that electro sol bass, that's actually in B minor. Let's go to a sol lead. Let's see what we All right, let's bring a sol lead in. And I'm going to solo that sol lead. And I just like that little whink piece there. So let's just go in there and isolate that. Delete the rest. Oops. And then bring sample 1 and do the same thing. Let's just drag that little piece into sample 1. And let's get rid of that track. And now we could play that little whomp thinger in sample 1. Hello, Stephen from the UK. Thanks for posting in the chat. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, let's put some effects on that little whamp. And here, what's that? That's pretty cool. Let's screw with that. Record something. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Oops. I always do that. 3, 4. So we could do this. We could do something kind of cool now. Let's start to arrange this. We have 3 instruments now. Let's start to arrange it a little bit. So we duplicate them, and we go to our arranger, Studio One. We're just going to make an intro and then a verse. This way we can kind of separate things out. Cool thing about the arranger is now that I put these sections on top of my tracks, I can duplicate them, and it will copy everything under the track. So let's just screw around with our intro here. I'm going to take the drums out of the intro. And this has got, it's too bright, this arpeggio. I'm going to use what's called bounce. If I select everything, I'm going to bounce. Actually, I'm going to just group everything. Let me just group everything together. Hit G for group, and if I go to bounce selection, it makes it into an audio clip. And I'm going to just do I'm going to change things in this audio clip. I'm going to put some EQ on it. Go to Pro EQ, and I'm going to take out the highs. So we just got. And I'm going to make this so it starts off around here and ends up over here automatically by right-clicking on the knob, editing the automation, and then come up here and drawing a curve. I'm just going to put a point there. Actually, I want to put it right at the beginning. Put a second point like here. Let's hear this out. I think it's cool. Now let's screw around with this lead down here. So let's bounce that lead and do something equally screwy by maybe putting like a phaser on it. And then also EQing it, but taking out the bass instead of taking out the treble. So let's see how this sounds. And that phaser, I really want it to go kind of wild. So I'm going to just keep the bass out. But let me really jack the settings of the phaser and see if we get something interesting going on. So here's the phaser. Ooh, that's pretty neat. I want to automate that knob. Let's automate stages and just make it literally go from the bottom step. Oh, we got to do it in steps. Damn. All right, let's see what we can do here. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, well, let's just make some different steps. That should be interesting. And I think there's also still too much bass. So let's pull the bass out and maybe screw around with this while it's playing and see what sounds good. All right, it's pretty wild. Let's throw some distortion on, or a bit crusher. Let's crush some bits. Yeah, that's too much. Let's try maybe red light district. So let's remove that one and go into our effects. And nah, you know what? How about just a crazy analog delay? Let's put that in there and see what happens. We'll go to like, let's try that. All right, that's interesting enough. Let's go to files and find a sweep up. Under sound sets, let's go to sweep. And see if there's a cool effect we could chuck in there. All right, let's put that in there too. And let's see what else we got. Ooh, let's bring that in. Let's see what we got now. All right, let's look for some hi-hat loops now. So let's do hats loop. All right, these are one shots. I'm going to find some loops. All right, let's pull that in and see how that sounds. Let's pull both of those in. Let's just see how this is going. I'm not a fan of all the little tweets, so let's chop that loop down and just see how this sounds. Duplicated. All right, we'll play from the beginning. So we got this wacko intro, and then we got a verse, and then the hi-hats come in later in the verse. So we're getting somewhere. All right, we need a good snare coming in now, or a good snare and clap. Let's see if there is a snare and clap all in one sample. No. All right. Can't have everything. All right, let's bring that guy in. And we just want the snare to hit every other beat. So one there and one there. Let's duplicate that. 3. Oops. I think that's what we want. There we go. I'm going to do one of my favorite things and just put 4 real quick snare hits there. Let me take out these squeaks when the snare comes in. duplicate this. All right, let's do a bit of a breakdown here. So we'll keep this going. Let's call this breakdown. And let's pop out the kick. What I actually want to do, let me organize a little bit. I like to have my drums yellow. So you change the color by clicking over here. And I like to have my drums yellow and at the top. So I'm going to put my drums at the top. These are more drums. So I'm going to just yellow all these guys. And let's see if we can take them all and put them at the top. Good. Let's shrink. Now I can see my drums are up there. And then let's take the bass. I like to have my basses red. And then everything else, whatever. Usually I like to have these effects green. So it just helps me see things better. And this is a little squeaker, so let's make that like purple. That sounds like the color of a squeak, purple, if I had to pick. And let's just hear how this sounds now. All right, let's keep that on A throughout the whole time. All right, let's do another one of my favorite things. I'm going to bring in my tie down here. Let's go to initialize patch, throw some reverb on, bring it halfway down. And now we got... I want to make a riser. In this breakdown. So let's just drag this whole loop out. Go all the way to the end. I think that's the note. All right, is it there? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so to make a riser, easy way to do this is open up my tie. Let's do a bend to 24. Oh, this should be pretty rad. And then do automate the pitch bend. So it's going from like all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. That might be too much of a riser. Let's hear how it sounds though. Just going to solo it. Huh. It might work. Let's hear it with everything else. Cool. I want to automate the cutoff because I don't want to have too much grit in the beginning. So let's just bring the cutoff about halfway and then bring the cutoff to the end there. Let's see how that sounds. All right, cool. And let's take the verse, duplicate it here after the breakdown, and just hear how it sounds. And bring the lead back in. All right, you get the idea. So that was just having some fun. Studio One. I started off talking about loops, and then honestly, I just got bored. And that's probably what's going to happen in the live streams. The live streams are not going to be very, I don't know what I want to say, structured. The live streams are basically for you guys. And if you guys are out there and you want to chat, post something in the chat. I'm streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're in any one of those and you could chat, type something in. And let's talk. I want to hear like what you guys would like to learn, any comments you have. Feel free. That the live streams are meant for extreme interaction. And just to basically show you guys what I do and have fun with in Studio One. It allows me to produce some music, and it's more fun doing it live. I probably wouldn't do it if I was sitting here by myself. So it's just doing stuff like this live. It just makes it more fun. So let's play this from the beginning and see what kind of goofy ass song we got here. So just know all of those sounds were taken out of loops. The instruments were, well, except for the riser. All the instruments were taken out of loops. I can't remember what loops I got them from. Like some EDM sample magic loop kit, I think, or something. And I brought them in the sample one, and I just sampled out pieces of them. And made a song out of the little pieces. So you don't even have to have instruments really anymore. You could just have little pieces and samples of things and just play the samples. Like, there's the bass. Okay, we have somebody in the chat. Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel viewers, followers, chatbots. The price is lower than any of your competitor. Come on, bro. When you want to court somebody, you don't just jump in and just like say, yo, buy like crap. How about a little foreplay, son? Okay? Anybody else in the chat want to make any comment? Jeez, you just go right directly to the punch? Is that how you do things? Gosh. No, sweeten me up with anything? Like, hey, Steve, I think your song's good. Hey, I really like your videos. No, it's just I want to offer promotion to your channel. Here's how I took that. Hey, I want to offer promotion to your channel. It's cheap. If I sold my products like that, I would be broke. So no, I'm not going to take your promotion unless you sweeten me up a bit. Anyway, that's from Twitch. So I'm sure that's a bot. They're not even listening anyway. But if they did, they would learn some good business tactics. All right, any other questions besides wanting to sell me something? I streamed for about 45 minutes. That's good enough for now. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hit me up in YouTube comments. Send an email to mail@dollarjunkie.com. And let me know what you'd like me to stream or what future courses you would like to see. I'm doing a lot of experimentation out there, and I'm literally throwing stuff up against a wall and seeing what sticks and seeing what's fun, seeing what's not. I'm going to be doing more podcasting soon, and I asked some guests to come on that. And I want to deliver value and I want to have fun, so hopefully you guys can join me in that. I'll talk to you later.